Ooh, huzzah! Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review. I'm Shane Diefenbach, knighted today, joined by Johnny Venerable. Johnny, how we feeling?
How about you? How about you? So for those of you who don't know, about 2 weeks back, we made a little wager, as we are known to do on this program, that Albert Pujols would not advance to the second round of the MLB Home Run Derby. I loved Pujols advancing, upsetting Kyle Schwarber. That he did.
He did.
Shane had to eat a big shit sandwich in the form of an outfit of my choosing. So I took it easy on him. I knighted him today instead of bodysuit man, maybe a nice short skirt. We're here at Four Peaks. We're having a banger of a time. Yeah. And Shane is the head of the table, it looks like.
Yeah, nice, good one. Charles in the chat saying, hi, Johnny. Hi, Sir Shane. Yes, you can call me Sir for right now and now on. I deserve to be knighted. Today we have a first on the PHNX Daily Bet Show. First of this year. We did it a little bit last year, but we're going to be doing it earlier this year. We're going to be previewing the NFC West today. We're going to be doing division previews once or twice a week before the NFL season starts, and I couldn't be more excited, and I'm sure you're not more excited than me.
This is my baby. Number one, the NFL is my baby. Last year on this program, check the tape, I was over 70% with my picks during the NFL season. The NFC West is where my near and dear Arizona Cardinals play. Not sure if you've heard. Very exciting time to be an Arizona Cardinal fan. And I can't wait to wager on this division and make everybody out there a bunch of money. Yeah,
I'm fired up too. Did some studying, much like Kyler Murray is going to be doing. I think we need to allot you, or me probably, once a week, every 4 hours, once a week. Study time individually.
I study on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and only there.
I don't think I need football study. I think I need to study something else. Maybe manners.
Yeah. Maybe how to live on your own.
Chivalry.
Yep. Okay.
I'll study some chivalry. Sounds good.
That's fine.
All right. Well, let's just get right into it, Mr. Johnny. If we're talking win totals first.
Okay.
We'll throw my picks. We got so many for you guys today, and we'll go through these individually.
It's a long show today.
We'll look at my win totals for right now.
Okay.
These are what I like. Rams over 10.5. There's 17 opportunities for them to win games. They have the hardest schedule, aside from the Chiefs, I would say, in the NFL. But there's also a good amount of cakewalk games. We'll go through this, not one by one, but I'll give you some names. They obviously open up with the Bills, which is,
that's tough.
Probably the best team in the NFL, I think, this year. My favorite to win the whole thing.
Okay.
We'll get into that later. But then they get the Falcons week 2, and then obviously you get the 6 division games. I think they're good for 3 or 4 of those. 2 against the Seahawks, split 1 against the Niners and the Cardinals maybe. The Cowboys, regression team. Don't think they're going to be great this year. The Panthers, another team that's just not good. Matt Rule on his last leg. And then they have teams like the Saints, who Michael Thomas might make it the difference. And then it gets a little tougher with the Packers, the Broncos, the Raiders, but I think there's easily 11 wins in there. So I like them to win that, but I don't know if they're going to win the division, John.
Who's winning the division if they don't win the division? The Cardinals? Because I can sure as hell tell you that the San Francisco 49ers are not winning the division with arm fatigue king Trey Lance. There is a reason, ladies and gentlemen, that players on the 49er roster are still big advocates for Jimmy Garoppolo because they know they can get him his. We're going to talk about props here in a little bit. I am not a buyer of the San Francisco 49ers. I think it's a house of cards, so to speak. They are overly reliant on too many injury-riddled players. Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel wants a new contract, right? A lot of issues with the offensive line. Alex Mack retired. So we'll take a look at my picks here. I don't mind.
Hold on.
Okay,
we only went through one of mine.
Okay, so I don't mind your Ram pick.
Yeah.
I think the Rams coast. Let's get Shane's back up
Yeah.
there. The Rams are going to coast to 11 wins.
Yeah.
Year 2 for Matthew Stafford. I'm a big buyer on the Rams. I don't think there's a Super Bowl hangover. It's the best run operation in the National Football League right now. I hate to say it, but I've seen it firsthand. They are a well-oiled machine. They get Allen Robinson, which is an upgrade over Robert Woods. I still think they're going to end up with OBJ before the offseason ends. And then I'm with you on the Hawks under 5.5 to some extent.
So listen to this. If I was a Seahawks fan, I would want them to start Drew Lock because you're not doing much this year. Drew Lock is more fun. I don't know if it's as much good for the culture, but even if they roll out Geno Smith, their schedule is kind of hard. You have to play in the NFC West. You're going to have to fight. I think they scraped through 1 or 2, maybe 3 wins in the NFC West, but 5.5 at plus money, taking the under there, I love it.
When did Pete Carroll become Matt Patricia? Because I think there is a little bit of a disrespect right now with Seattle. By no means I think they're going to be good or competent, but I also think Pete Carroll's going to the Hall of Fame one day. He turned around that Seahawks organization,
but
much in large to Russell Wilson.
He also sacrificed Russell Wilson for his own sake. The organization did. It was him or Russell Wilson.
I think they could be dog shit early. I think they could start out 0-5, 0-6. And I think at the end of the year, they're going to be a team you don't want to play because he's got young players. They've gutted that roster. It's going to be a lot of young draft picks.
Why would you not want to play a team that's either rolling out Geno Smith or Drew Lock at quarterback?
I think they will be trending up at the end of the year. I think they end up with 6 wins. I'm going to take the over 5.5. I think they end up with 6 wins. I think they do just enough for Pete Carroll to run it back one more year. What are you doing? You got to take it down? All right.
It was hot in there, guys.
You got to let the main breathe.
It was real hot in there. Obviously, some big departures for the Seahawks, and we'll kind of go one by one with these teams. But Russell Wilson being the biggest, everybody knows he's on the Broncos now. Gerald Everett is on the Chargers. Dwayne Brown gone. Ethan Pochich gone. Carlos Dunlap gone.
Yeah, but these aren't great players. I mean, let's be honest.
Carlos Dunlap? Oh, here's a great player. Bobby Wagner's gone.
Okay,
KJ Wright's
Bobby
gone.
Wagner's body is breaking down. You're going to see that in L.A. this year. Carlos Dunlap still doesn't have a team. It's about Russell Wilson. Like, they're going to be inept early because they don't have Russell Wilson offensively. But I do think by the end of the year, remember how good their running game was last year?
And they did upgrade, I would say. Chris Carson obviously retired, but you're having a 1-2 punch of Rashad Penny, who showed flashes last year, averaging the most yards per carry in the last couple weeks of the season. And you get probably what I think is the best running back in the draft in Kenneth Walker. So that's going to be interesting, and we have something for you there. But then my last win total was the Cardinals.
Let's talk about it.
8.5. Is that disrespectful?
No, that's a sweet spot. That's a sweet spot. I've been on every radio show. I've done every podcast hit this offseason. Everybody's asked me my over-under. I say 8.5. Vegas agrees with me per usual. I would take the slight over and give them 9. Give me 9.
Really?
I feel good. Right there, sweet spot, playoff team, probably 6th or 7th in the NFC. Listen, this is an NFC landscape right now that outside of a couple old heads and Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Stafford, who by the way, his back's kind of broken, Kyler Murray is the most dynamic young quarterback in the NFC. That's unarguable. You've got Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott that are kind of middling around in the terrible NFC East. I do think the Cardinals find a way to get to 9 wins. I think, by the way, they do something they have not done in the Kingsbury era. I think they finish better than they start. I think they scratch and claw their way to a playoff berth. I think the floor with the Cardinals is somewhere around 7 wins. Ceiling's probably 11. I'm going right in the middle, 9 wins for the Cardinals. Book it. Book the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at their schedule, and
yeah, it's not great.
It's hard.
Listen, hear me out for a second. The Cardinals did something incredibly wise this offseason. Not the Kyler Murray addendum. That was horseshit. This is what they did. They said, our robust schedule of quarterbacks that we face, doesn't matter what we're going to do defensively, we're going to regress. So let's just push all of our chips in the middle of the table offensively. They had Trey McBride. They had Hollywood Brown. They re-signed James Conner. They bring back A.J. Green. They re-signed Zach Ertz. Rodney Hudson comes out of retirement, essentially, and is back with this team. Their offensive line is intact. They get DeAndre Hopkins back for the last 11 games of the year. That could work to an advantage. I think they're going to score points by the bunches. This is a team that has no excuse not to finish as a top 10 offense. And then defensively, I don't care if they finish 21-22. If that was flipped and reversed in today's NFL, you're not a playoff team. But in today's NFL, you want to be an offensively heavy team, and that's what the Cardinals are, and I think that's why they're going to be in the playoffs. All
right. I don't hate it. Let's talk about forecast. Let's talk about where we think these teams are going to finish, and we'll kind of nitpick them one by one. Everybody knows what the Cardinals did this offseason.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch PHNX Cardinals, but for the other teams. So I know you got some forecasts. We'll go with you first.
Let's check them out. All right, so here's what I got going on. You can get right now, this is a special only to DraftKings, a little dabble, do ya? Rams, Cardinals, that's not in order. Cardinals could finish first, Rams could finish first, it doesn't matter. Top two finish plus 250. Last year, everybody seems to forget this. The Cardinals finished second in the NFC West last year. 49ers got third, right? The Cardinals have taken the last 3 of 4 from San Francisco. They swept Kyle Shanahan's ass last year, one of which with Colt McCoy, okay? So it's not hyperbole to say that the Cardinals finished second. So I get plus 250. I get over 200. We all assume the Rams are going to win this division. I think that's Trey Lance is not winning this division as essentially a first-year starter. The last meaningful football he played was at North Dakota State. That's not happening. So I get the best 2 quarterbacks in the division, finishing 1-2. Hell yeah, plus 250.
Plus money. That's juicy.
Yeah.
That's a little bit juicier. My NFC West forecast. Give me that exact order. Give me the Cardinals to finish 1, Rams to finish second, plus 750. I believe, Johnny. I really do. There's a lot of disrespect.
You must not have been on social media the last week and a half.
Trust me, I've seen it all. I've heard it all, and it's social media. It's not on the field. What sums this division up, what sums the Rams up, is the salary cap is real.
Yeah.
They lost players. People are always saying, like, how do they have room to sign all these guys? Like, when is it going to stop? The salary cap actually hit them. You lose Sonny Michel, which who cares?
Yeah.
Odell Beckham, I think he's gone. I know you have confidence that he's probably not. I think he's gone. Robert Woods obviously traded. Andrew Whitworth. The offensive line is in shambles.
That's their biggest issue.
Andrew Whitworth, gone. Austin Corbett, gone. Von Miller, gone. And then you get your number 2 corner, Darius Williams, gone. Like, when you don't shore up the pass rush.
I've seen McVay work his fucking voodoo witchcraft.
I know.
I'm sorry for my language.
We've seen it time and time again. But when it comes down to it, the salary cap actually hit this team for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
You get Bobby Wagner, who's on the tail end of his career. You get Troy Hill to replace the cornerback position, and you get Allen Robinson. I don't know if Joe Noteboom's going to do as much as Andrew Whitworth could have done. I don't know if Austin Corbett's hole is going to be filled. I just think this Rams team is a lot more damaged, especially in terms of their lines, than people think.
Here's the problem with the Rams, and this is a problem for everybody else, not the Rams. I think the Rams don't get enough credit for the drafting and the development of what they do in the later rounds and McVay and how he elevates players. Like, everybody sees the splash acquisitions, the giving up of the first-round picks, right? But, like, that can't be it, the end-all, be-all. The foundation of this roster is Sean McVay finds players in the mid to late rounds and makes them quality starters. And that's the unfortunate thing for the Cardinals. If you're a Cardinal fan, the Cardinals have not been able to do that consistently. So I am a believer in Sean McVay. It's taken me a while to get here. I think he's a top 3 coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think what he and Stafford have right now, it's the best thing going. And unfortunately, number 1, I think it gets Stafford in the Hall of Fame, and I think McVay's already there, frankly.
Yeah. Well, I know you had 3 and 4 as well predicted in your forecast.
Yeah, let's dabble. Let's check out 3 and 4.
Let's see what you like
here. Right now, give me my 49ers to finish dead last at plus
you
750.
You hate Trey Lance.
I don't hate him. I hate the slobber fest that goes on with San Francisco. I feel like, again, house of cards with this team. You think Trey Lance is going to go on the road and beat Patrick Mahomes this year? You think Trey Lance is going to outduel Derek Carr? I'm sorry. This is a team right now that's feeling themselves that will be the not benefactor, but will have a disservice done to them because of the lengthy postseason run. Every other year, Kyle Shanahan's team stinks. They get to the NFC playoffs, they make a long run, and then the next year they're picking top 10. They're terrible, right? I think injuries they're so physical, and they love to tout, they love to run the football right. The practices are notorious for being physical. I think they break down physically. I am predicting, I don't root for injuries, but I am predicting a multitude of star injuries for the 49ers because of how they run their practices. They go into the season, I think they end up with somewhere between 4 and 6 wins, and I think the Seahawks have the tiebreaker in that scenario, and they get third place in the NFC West. So give me Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers. Suck it, Niner fans. I think that's what's happening.
Well, their defense had a lot of turnover. They get Travarius Ward, but that's after the departure of K'Wan Williams. Jaquiski Tart now gone. Alex Mack on their offensive line retired. Obviously, Raheem Mostert's to the Dolphins, but you can plug and play with those running backs.
Here's the problem. I don't mean to interrupt you. Trent Williams does not play every position up front, and it's like Pro Football Focus is like, well, we're going to average out.
Trent Williams also doesn't play every game.
Right. We're going to average out Trent Williams, who's a 99, and it just goes across the board for everybody else. It's like, that's not how it works. Trey Lance is going to run into so many sacks this year. He's not going to have robust passing numbers. They were absolutely afraid to put him in games last year.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan put an injured Jimmy Garoppolo. There are real concerns with Trey Lance. Everybody loves to dog on Kyler Murray. It's been the Kyler Murray offseason of let's just throw arrows at this young man, who, by the way, is proving he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. And then you have Trey Lance, who last started a meaningful game, I think in 2019 at North Dakota State against Panera Bread University.
Yeah.
So I understand Kyle Shanahan's done more with less than a lot of coaches at quarterback. But you get expectations with this Niner team, you get disappointment.
I think this is the first year you're going to see a regression in the 49ers run game because it always seems like every single year some rando comes out of nowhere and he's the must pick up in fantasy and he has a great year. Elijah Mitchell was awesome. I just don't know if they're going to have that same effect this year. Deebo Samuel has so much discourse with his team, and he says everything's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's well and good. I don't know if it really is. He's an athlete at the end of the day, like a true athlete on the football field. He can do anything, get him in open space. He's a weapon.
You know what he's also not going to do? He's not going to bust his ass to be out there every week if he's dinged up because he wants his money. Let's be honest with that. If he doesn't get his contract now.
And speaking of dinged up, I mean, that is one of the most physical, if not the most physical receiver in the NFL.
Yep. George Kittle, by the way, healthy last year. Is he healthy every year? No. Nick Bosa healthy every year? No. Trent Williams? No. It's a house of cards with San Francisco. I don't root for injuries, but I do think that we're grossly. Pro Football Focus had 5 Niners in the top 25 players in the NFL. 5. 5.
Who?
Come on now.
Bosa,
Trent Williams, Fred Warner,
okay,
George Kittle, and Deebo.
Yeah.
They've done well drafting and developing. They were gifted Trent Williams because he didn't want to go to Minnesota, but quarterback matters.
Josh in the chat saying, dang, Johnny's spitting so much, I'm surprised Shane hasn't tried to slay him.
Quarterback. I am the fiery dragon here at Four Peaks, by the way.
Four Peaks, Tempe. We're here all day doing our shows live. Come out, hang out, 8th Street Pub in Tempe. If you can't make it, grab yourself a Four Peaks wherever you get your beer around Arizona. It's fantastic. The next one I try is better than the last. Great service, even better food here. It's just fantastic. So make sure to come out, hang out with us. We're here all day. Last show is Cardinals at 4 p.m. We'll be doing shows back to back to back to back to back. So come out here, enjoy. You got to be 21 or over to drink. You don't have to be 21 or over to come here. And just when you're drinking, make sure to enjoy responsibly. Okay, Johnny, let's talk about player props. Let's talk about totals. I'll give out mine first. These are my favorite first NFC West player totals and awards.
Yeah.
We mentioned Kenneth Walker earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Running back, Michigan State. I was a little surprised that the Seahawks went running back.
Makes sense now.
I really like him. Well, I already assumed that, you know.
I feel like you were the only one who knew that. I did not know that
You didn't know Chris
Carson was going to retire.
It's a neck injury, and plus, Seahawks fans have seen this many times. They saw it with Cam Chancellor. Neck injuries are terrible. His timeline kept getting pushed back and back.
He literally destroyed the Cardinals last year and kept them from winning a division. He was a great player.
He was. Only 27 years old. It sucks. But now you got the new age. Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker, 1-2 duo. I think Kenneth Walker will probably get most of the carries this year just because of Rashad Penny's injury-prone tendencies. You can get him at the Offensive Rookie of the Year at plus 1,200. I love those odds. I mean, why not? Like, this team has nothing to lose. I think they run him out there more often than not, and I think he makes the best of it. Their offensive line isn't great, but it's not as bad as it has been in the past, so I like that at plus 1,200. And then I like this as well. Kyler Murray over 525.5 rushing yards.
You can't even get plus money on that. That tells you Vegas thinks Kyler's going to run a lot.
Yeah, minus 105. look, when you look at the numbers broken down year by year,
Yeah.
544 his rookie year,
Yeah.
819 2020,
Yep.
only 423 last year.
Missed 3 games.
Obviously missed 3 games. And he played in all 16 games in 2020, but now he gets to play in 17 games in 2022 if he stays healthy. I think he shatters this. I think he has an incredible year. I think you're going to see a lot different offense from the Cardinals this year. A lot of air raids still, but he's going to have to make do with what he can in the open field, and I think he runs for a lot of yards.
They do not play quality defenses every week. They get the Rams twice, which we think they will regress. They get New England late in the year, but they get them at home. And then I think if you want to count Denver, that's fine. Their schedule is difficult. The Cardinals' schedule is difficult offensively. They face Pro Bowl quarterbacks up and down their schedule. Kyler Murray should feast this year if he plays 17 games. Listen, I can't wait to talk about my prop of the day that I didn't give you, but I do think Kyler Murray has his most efficient season to date, passing and running.
Yeah, Ian in the chat saying you guys forgot how good Rashad played down the stretch. No, I did not, because first of all, I had him on my fantasy team, and he single-handedly won me the championship in Week 15-16 when he ran for over 200 yards. Second of all, I agree with you. I think healthy Rashad Penny is the starting running back. I think they split carries, but I think healthy Rashad Penny is the starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks in 2022.
If you don't think that the Seahawks want to run the football,
they're gonna run so much, and that's why usage. We've seen Rashad Penny how delicate this man is. He has missed so many games in his NFL career. I just don't see him playing a full season. And I can see Kenneth Walker, week 3, week 4, Rashad Penny out with a concussion, out with a tweaked knee, goes crazy, goes for 150, and all of a sudden he's a starting running back. The Seahawks team, again, has nothing to lose. They're not looking to dominate on the ground with one guy every single week. They're looking for the future, and Kenneth Walker can be the future of this team.
I don't disagree. I like the Seahawks at the end of the year when they're completely dismissed by everybody. That's what happened last year. Russell Wilson, it just wasn't a good fit. I think Pete Carroll, he's going to be incredibly hands-on. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I think the NFC West this year is all going to be about the chip. Kyler Murray's got a chip. Pete Carroll's got a chip. Everybody's anointing San Francisco. Let's dive deep in the numbers here. I think the 49ers are so grossly overrated. It makes me sick.
All right, well, you got some passing props between Trey Lance and Kyler Murray.
Let's check these out.
I believe you do.
Let's go to the videotape. All right, so Kyler Murray, if he plays 17 games, he would have eclipsed this easily last year and the year before. He's going to sleepwalk his way to 4,000 yards passing.
You got the over.
Yeah, give me the over. I do not believe for a second you sign a $230 million contract like it's a precursor. You got to pass for 4,000 yards, even if you run around a little bit. Trey Lance, 3,500 yards. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Garoppolo didn't average 3,500 yards in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I know he didn't. So Trey Lance, you're going to tell me Trey Lance, fresh out of the 1AA football, is going to do that? No. Trey Lance is going to be right around 3,000 yards passing. Now, he might dabble with his legs. He runs out of necessity because he can't go through his projections. Go put on the tape last year when Trey Lance came, albeit in his first start in the rookie year, came to State Farm Stadium. He was an athlete trying to play quarterback, running around, right? He had no precision to throwing the football. And unlike Patrick Mahomes entering year 2, everybody talked about looks unbelievable in OTAs, looks unbelievable in camp. What have we heard about Trey Lance? Arm fatigue.
Yep.
Right. His arm is tired, right? They're going to be running a lot of RPOs, right? They're going to do quick screens, right? They're going to rely on yak. They've got great yak players. That, to me, does not add up to somebody 3,500 yards passing. No chance.
Yeah. The yak thing, that's why the number is what it is.
Right.
Is because they don't expect him to shoot the lights out with the football. They don't expect him to put the ball in a basket 30 yards downfield to Deebo Samuel. They're just expecting dinks and dunks and let the stars do what they do best.
We're going to run it on first and second down. No team ran it on more on first and second down than the Niners did last year.
Deebo Samuel had an incredible year last year. But you know what happens after you have an incredible year. Defenses shore up. They figure out what to do, especially in the NFC West. I don't see it happening again.
No.
So, yeah, I don't hate that at all. And all of these odds are courtesy of the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So today, right now, you can use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. Make your first deposit at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Get a $1,000 risk-free bet instantly. Maybe throw it on the Cardinals to win the division. Maybe throw it on the forecast that I got with 1 and 2 Cardinals-Rams at plus 750. Throw $1,000, win $7,500.
Oh.
Why not? Risk-free.
Why wouldn't you do that?
But you can bet on anything you want on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. It's the best. It makes everything more fun. Midday baseball going on. Bet on that.
Juan Soto sounds like he's going to go to the St. Louis Cardinals. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
Have you heard about this, folks? St. Louis Cardinals right now have the best odds to acquire Juan Soto, supposedly going to include all-star prospect Nolan Gorman, among others. So I will be insufferable if that happens, Shane.
Wow, that'd be interesting. Jacob praying and saying, please. What's your, why?
Well, he doesn't want him to go to the Padres, I would imagine, because of
having him go to the NL West would just be atrocious.
We talked about this at lunch yesterday.
Let him go to the Central. Let him go cannibalize whatever that division is, and have him stay far, far away from the Diamondbacks.
Josh Hunt in the chat. D-backs in 10 minutes. Yes, the game starts in 10 minutes. And the PHNX D-backs show will be going live right after this, so you can make sure to watch that while they're watching the game. It's going to be a good time right here at Four Peaks. But DraftKings, download it, bet on whatever you want. Get a $1,000 risk-free bet when you sign up using that promo code PHNX after you make your first deposit. Only the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for more details. Johnny, a couple more things to touch on before we get out of here.
Hit me with them. Let's check.
Before we get into the picks.
I'm sorry.
Before we get into the last props.
Wow.
Division ranking. Strength of division in football. Where does this rank out of the 8 divisions?
It's 2 now, but for the past decade, it's been the number 1 division. You think about every single postseason has had a significant presence of the NFC West. They are never one and done. What division kicks the living shit out of Aaron Rodgers every postseason? It's the NFC West, whether it's the Cardinals once upon a time, certainly the San Francisco 49ers, the LA Rams. They are number 2 now because the AFC West, they just have too much elite quarterback play, right? Trey Lance is unproven. We know what Geno Smith and Drew Lock are. The Seahawks falling off essentially cements this as the number 2 division. But, hey, the fun doesn't stop because the Cardinals and everybody else in the NFC West plays the AFC West this year. It's funny how that works out.
All right, well, I know you got some touchdown props as well for us. Let's see what the tutties are, huh?
James Conner had 18 touchdowns last year. This is disrespectful. Of course he will have 10 touchdowns this year. Kenyon Drake had 10 touchdowns for the love of God in this offense. The Cardinals have wisely figured out you have to pair Kyler Murray with a big physical back because they can't convert on short yardage in the goal line. Chase Edmonds is gone. It is James Conner's show with Darrell Williams waiting in the wings. That's, again, 10 touchdowns. He might get there by midseason. And then Kyler Murray, 25.5 passing touchdowns. Listen, again, $230 million. That's like, if you don't pass for 26 touchdowns and pass for 4,000 yards, even if you love to run around, and for Kyler Murray, who doesn't like to run, by the way, those are boilerplate check marks. I would have thought Kyler Murray's over-under for passing touchdowns this year, frankly, would have been closer to 30.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. Again, I just think win total aside, I understand the 8.5. They have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But the disrespect of the offense and what they're going to be able to do.
Look at the team. Look at the depth chart. Like, everybody's ignoring it.
It's kind of like in the NBA when you hear players talking about young guys. And then that player ends up exploding. Anthony Simons is an example. People loved him in the NBA, and he just got it back. I mean, he's a great player, and nobody really knew of him. Hollywood Brown is that guy in the NFL.
Right.
He is your favorite player's favorite receiver.
Right.
Like 100%. They love talking about him. He's so good. Lamar Jackson, not a great downfield passer, but made the most of what he could.
Lamar furious, by the way, when they traded him. He was like, what the hell is going on?
And not obviously the storyline playing together in college. I just think this is going to be so dynamic and so somehow still undervalued.
I asked Cliff Kingsbury specifically about Hollywood Brown yesterday, and he said, like, it's basically been seamless, the transition, because what the Cardinals run is so much of what Hollywood ran at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You think about him going frigid AFC North to beautiful, sunny NFC West in Scottsdale and Glendale and Tempe in a pass-happy offense with his best friend, who is a better thrower of the football. I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson. And we saw it last year. What am I looking at here?
I'm sorry, I just can't. There's a TV screen in Four Peaks that says, "Is Carson Wentz the answer for the Washington Commanders?"
I think we know that.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Of course he is. He's the answer to a top 10 pick.
I genuinely can't believe that's a headline. That is.
See, and that's the problem. Everybody, it's Kyler Murray. Let's dog on Kyler Murray off season, and there are teams that are trotting out Carson Wentz.
Exactly. You're in quarterback purgatory.
That's right.
You're just trying to stay above water. It's terrible. It's awful. All right. Well, I got a couple more props for you guys before we round up the show, and then Johnny, you got some as well. We'll look at my second picks of my second graphic with the props on it.
Okay.
We're talking DK Metcalf, and I'm taking his under. 900 receiving yards is the over/under. I'm taking the under. DK Metcalf, a guy that fantasy owners are kind of scared of sometimes, had 900 in 2019, 1,300 in 2020, 967 in 2021. And you're going to say, Shane, he hit that total every single year. Why are you taking the under? Well, Russell Wilson's gone, clearly. And receivers make do. Great receivers make do with their quarterbacks. Except when you have quarterbacks like Drew Lock and Geno Smith. I firmly believe that they're going to try out Drew Lock more than they're going to try out Geno Smith, just because they're going to figure out that they just cannot win football games this way.
Can I give you a hot take? I think DK Metcalf is traded by the trading deadline midseason.
He's at training camp.
Midseason. I think the Seahawks start off 0-6, 0-5. DK Metcalf could be a Green
But they're
Bay
still going to
Packer.
be a team that you don't want to play at the end of the season?
Yeah, because because that usually what happens, a trade, something like that. So the only reason I don't love this, if he gets traded to Green Bay mid-season, he's going to eclipse these numbers.
Look
at what the Packers are starting at receiver right now.
I know. I'm very aware.
Christian Watkins isn't practicing.
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins isn't practicing. Would DK Metcalf be a Packer before the end of training camp?
I don't think they'd trade him there. Actually, they really have nothing to lose. My second one is Cooper Kupp, over 111 receptions. That is a ridiculous number that the line is set at.
Didn't he have 130
He had
last
145
year?
last year.
Oh, my God.
I am hammering the over on this. Just broke the record for most receptions in a year. There's no slowing him down.
I hate how good he is.
I don't think Odell's going to be a Ram by the time the season starts. And even if he is, he's not going to be the same Odell. Fuck turf. Get rid of turf in the NFL. It is ruining the game. It is injuring players, and we saw it in the Super Bowl. And I was robbed of a prop hitting because Mr. Odell got stuck on turf. It's awful. Get rid of it. Even if they don't have him, or even if he is on the roster, I think he eclipses 111 easily. He's going to be the number one target again this year. Van Jefferson, sure. Allen Robinson,
supposedly
sure.
Stafford and Cooper Kupp meet like every day at 5:30.
I also think Allen Robinson, one of the most overrated, overvalued pickups this year.
I don't hate hearing that. I love hearing that.
Just doesn't do a lot for me. I don't think he's going to fit well in that offense. Bulls.
You think the Cardinals have the best receiving core when DeAndre Hopkins
in the
comes
NFC
back?
West?
Yes.
Easily.
Over San Francisco?
Yes.
Even
San Francisco's receiving core?
Deebo and Ayuk and Kittle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not arguable. Okay.
I don't think it is. But you have
wow.
a top 5 receiver at their position for the Cardinals.
Ayuk is more.
Ayuk is a top 20 guy sometimes.
Hollywood's more accomplished than Brandon Ayuk. Kittle's better than Zach Ertz, but I think the Cardinals have better depth at receiver. A.J. Green's an afterthought.
Rondale Moore bubble routes. Come on.
No, I don't
Rondale
like
Moore bubble routes. Come on.
I don't like that.
All right, Johnny. Last props.
Here's what I do like. Let's check them out right now, Mr. Producer Jacob. 49ers. Nope, there it is. I just mentioned George Kittle. Hey, guess who's not going to get his numbers this year because his quarterback can't throw and has arm fatigue? George Kittle, under 825.5 passing receiving yards. No, thank you.
Uh-oh.
What's happening
Got
right
Saul
here?
on the mic.
Holy shit, this is the longest bets episode of
Sorry,
all
we're all
time.
about having
You guys
fun.
have now I just want to, you just made history. This is officially the longest bets
No, it's not.
episode of all time.
We've got an hour.
No, those ones don't count.
What?
At 4 peaks, you have just broken the record.
Well, yeah, we've broken the record. We've broken our record of our first show by going longer than our first show. And as I said, guys, we'll be doing this once or twice every single week until the NFL season starts, previewing the divisions. So make sure to tune in here. But before we leave, Matt Stafford.
Stafford's going to go under his interception total as he feels more comfortable in this offense. I also think if he's got a little bit of an injury bug, they're going to slow play. He may even miss a game or two. 13.5 interceptions. Stafford's, it's like Russell Wilson. Like, I can't hate him. He's too good of a guy.
Yeah, but he also just makes one or two throws every game where you're like, God.
I think they're going to cut those down next year. McVay, if there's a coach to do it, it's him. Here's my last prop of the day. Kyler Murray wins the MVP of the National Football League at plus 2,000 right now. Go bet on it.
Wow.
Plus 2,000.
Remember when that was like a lock halfway through the year? Remember when we gave
Don't
that
talk
up?
to me. Don't talk to me ever.
Anything else before we get out of here, Buster?
PHNX Cardinals live today, 4 p.m. Myself, Frank Sanders, Bo Brock. Bo Brock is live right now at Cardinals training camp. We just heard from Cliff Kingsbury. He said Marquise Hollywood Brown tweaked his hamstring. Not a long-term thing. Shut your mouth.
Marquise Brown tweaked his hamstring. Bad.
Nothing to worry about.
That's scary.
Nothing to worry about. Outro the show.
Non-football injury. What did he do? Does anybody know yet? Was he riding a quad?
Being elite. Too busy out there being
he was
elite.
being elite while not playing
outro
football.
music's playing. We're being played off the screen.
Hey. We'll be back tomorrow, every Monday through Friday, live right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Do not miss any episode. And Four Peaks live for the rest of the day. Don't miss it. Get here, and if you can't, grab a Four Peaks. Watch it at home. As I said, we'll be back tomorrow. You can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Deef. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. Every Monday through Friday at noon, right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Peace, love, and Four Peaks.